Move aside. This is my seat.
Check the ticket. It's mine.
Sir, economy is at the back.
This is discrimination. I own this airline.
In the bustling terminal of O'Hare International Airport in Chicago, on a crisp autumn morning in 2025, Edward Thompson adjusted his worn baseball cap and glanced at his watch. He was dressed casually, a simple gray sweatshirt, comfortable jeans, and sneakers that had seen better days, blending in with the crowd of weary travelers rushing toward their gates. Little did anyone know, this unassuming man held the keys to an empire. As he boarded American Skyways Flight 512 bound for Los Angeles, he settled into his assigned seat, 1A in first class, only to have it snatched away in a moment that would ignite a firestorm of controversy and change. Susan Reynolds, a sharply dressed woman in her mid-50s with perfectly coiffed blonde hair and a designer handbag slung over her shoulder, strode down the aisle like she owned the plane. She spotted Edward in 1A, her eyes narrowing at his relaxed attire. Without a word, she gripped his arm firmly and pulled him up. "Move aside, young man. This seat is mine," she snapped, her voice laced with authority. Coffee from Edward's cup splashed onto his lap as he stood, startled but composed. Susan slid into the seat, crossing her legs and claiming the armrest as if it were her throne. "Some folks just don't know their place," she muttered, loud enough for nearby passengers to hear. Edward stood in the aisle, his boarding pass clutched in his hand. The smudged ink clearly read 1A, but Susan waved it off dismissively. Phones began to emerge from pockets as passengers sensed the brewing drama. A young woman in her late teens, Olivia Grant, pulled out her phone and started a live stream on Instagram, whispering to her growing audience, "This is wild, some lady just took this guy's seat and won't budge." The flight attendant, Rachel Brooks, hurried over, her uniform crisp and her smile practiced. She glanced at Susan, who exuded the air of a frequent flyer, and then at Edward, taking in his casual clothes and dark skin. "Ma'am, is everything all right?" Rachel asked Susan sympathetically, barely acknowledging Edward. He extended his boarding pass. "This is my seat. Could you please check?" Rachel's eyes flicked over him dismissively. "Sir, economy is at the back. Let's not cause a delay." The tension built as Edward insisted calmly, "I'd appreciate it if you'd verify my ticket." Susan chimed in, her voice dripping with condescension. "Look at him, does he seem like first-class material? I've been a Platinum Elite member for over a decade. I know my rights." Whispers rippled through the cabin. Olivia's stream hit 500 viewers, comments flooding in. "This smells like racism. Why won't they look at his pass?" More crew members arrived. Lead attendant Victor Ramirez, a seasoned veteran, junior attendant Tyler Hayes, eager to prove himself, and senior attendant Priya Singh, known for her no-nonsense attitude. They formed a barrier around Edward, echoing Rachel's assumptions. "Sir, move to your real seat or we'll call security," Victor warned, not once glancing at the boarding pass Edward held out. The cabin grew restless. An older gentleman in row 2 spoke up. "At least check the man's ticket." But the crew shut him down, defending their protocol. Edward's phone buzzed with urgent messages about a board meeting rescheduled to 4 p.m. He remained stoic, years of executive poise keeping him grounded. Susan smirked, pretending to be important. "Huh? Probably late for flipping burgers." The cruelty stung, but Edward said nothing, letting the moment unfold. Olivia's viewer count surged to 5,000 as the hashtag #SkyWayShame began trending on social media. Security officers arrived: Officer Jamal Lewis, a black man in his 40s, and Officer Mia Chun, an Asian American woman with a steady gaze. They asked for details, and the crew pointed accusingly at Edward. "He's refusing to leave first class," Victor explained. Officer Chin examined Edward's boarding pass carefully. "This says 1A. Susan protested, showing her own app. "Mine says the same. He's faking it." Confusion mounted as Officer Lewis requested Edward's ID. That's when Edward pulled up an app on his phone, navigating to a restricted executive portal. The screen lit up. Edward Thompson, CEO and 68% owner of American Skyways. Authority level, unlimited. The officer's demeanors shifted instantly to respect. Victor peered over, his face paling. That's impossible." One by one, the crew saw the truth. The man they'd humiliated reported directly to them all. The cabin fell silent as Edward announced calmly, "I don't just own this seat. I own the entire airline." Susan's smug expression shattered into horror. You're what?" Edward turned to the crew. "You've discriminated against me based on my appearance and skin color. You threatened arrest without evidence." Phones captured every word. Olivia's stream exploded to 50,000 viewers. Edward wasted no time. On speakerphone, he called the legal department. "Patricia, prepare federal discrimination filings. This incident is live-streamed to thousands." He detailed the crew's actions, knowing the repercussions. Then HR. Initiate terminations and suspensions. Victor Ramirez, fired on the spot, no benefits, blacklisted from aviation. Rachel Brooks, 6-month unpaid leave with mandatory training. Tyler Hayes, probation and counseling. Priya Singh, demotion and salary cut. For Susan, Edward offered choices. As a vice president at a major beverage company in Atlanta, her LinkedIn boasted anti-discrimination posts. Option 1. Public apology, 250 hours of community service at civil rights groups, bias therapy, and monitored flights forever. Option 2. Lawsuits, fines up to $600,000, lifetime ban from our airline and partners. Susan, tears streaming, chose option 1, recording her apology on the spot. "I was wrong. My actions were prejudiced and hurtful." Edward didn't stop there. He announced sweeping reforms. Body cams for all staff, a $60 million annual anti-bias fund, anonymous reporting apps, and independent audits. The cabin erupted in applause as a new crew boarded. Victor was escorted off in cuffs for escalating threats. Susan was moved to a middle seat in economy, a poetic reversal. The flight finally departed, but the impact rippled outward. By landing in Los Angeles, Skyway's justice trended nationwide. Other airlines' continental wings, Pacific Air rushed to announce similar policies. Congress debated the Fair Skies Act for federal oversight. Edward's press conference that evening emphasized transparency. "This isn't revenge, it's reform." Stock prices rose 4.1% as investors praised the accountability. 6 months later, bias complaints at American Skyways plummeted 92%. Rachel Brooks, after her suspension, became a trainer, sharing her regrets. "I judged by looks, not facts. Never again." Victor found work at a tiny cargo outfit, speaking at seminars on the dangers of prejudice. Susan resigned her corporate job to advocate full-time, donating earnings to equality causes. Olivia's video garnered 15 million views, earning her a media scholarship. A year on, Edward revisited the route in 1A. The industry had transformed the Thompson Protocol, now standard in travel. At the United Nations, he spoke. "Power means ensuring dignity for all." Passengers shared stories of kinder service, proving one man's stand against injustice could reshape a nation. What do you think about the themes of injustice and subtle violence in everyday encounters like this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe such biases still lurk in society, or have we made real progress? Take a stand and express your views. Your stories could inspire change.